Good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. I watched a video yesterday by Pastor Dowell saying something. If you go to his channel, you'll find it. Something about World War III is the U.S. moving troops to the Russian border. And I hadn't seen or heard anything about it, so I didn't comment on the video. And then this morning, of course, it's the headline on Drudge, right? The U.S. is moving forces to the Soviet border, or to the Russian border. Chaos. What's happening? What's going on? I'm about to give you my take and a little bit of a geography lesson, so stick around. Cue the intro, talking about chaos. Masters of Chaos. All right, we're back. I am going to flip this camera around and try and show you a map, right? Let's try and do that. See a little of my living room. All right, there. Hopefully this will work out. You know, I'm so high-tech here. High Prairie Acres. All right. This is a map. Let me just back it up a little bit. Whoop, go this way. This is a map of Europe, right? Y'all can see this. Here's the U.S. over here. Here's Europe. Scandinavia, Spain, Africa, right? All right, now let's close into what we're talking about here. Whoop, wrong way. There we go. All right. And you can get your own map and follow along. You should be familiar with this area because it could be important here directly. Here is Russia. There's Moscow, right there. Poland, Germany, Denmark sticking up into the Baltic. Here's the Scandinavian peninsula coming up this way. Then these are former Soviet republics: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus. This is Ukraine right here, down in here. Now, matter of fact, let me show you Ukraine. I have a video on what was going on in the Ukraine. Basically, Ukraine was in dire straits economically, and they were looking to the West and looking to Russia for financial aid. Both were offering a packet, if you will. They liked what Russia was offering better, and so the government started leaning that way. And so, quite frankly, we orchestrated riots and chaos in Ukraine and got their guy, the head of their government, to flee for his life to Russia, at which point we installed what I consider a puppet government. That ticked off a bunch of Eastern Ukrainians who said, no, we don't like that. That's the West interfering in our governmental processes. We're sticking with Russia. And problems came there. And then everyone went crazy. And then Russia seized Crimea right here. They've always owned it. That's the head of their Black Sea fleet, where they keep the fleet. And so the West, Russia's going to fight back. This is scary. And so then the West started putting forces in here. And the Brits started out by putting 500 troops in one of these countries. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. I can't remember which one now. And if I was really good, I would have it written down. But it was one of these countries right on Russia's borders. They put in Paris or somebody in there. And so what Russia did, Russia owns this right here. Do you see this part right here? Can you see that? That's called Kaliningrad. It used to be called Königsberg. It was part of Prussia, and then after World War II, the Russians got that. Now, they also got all of this, right? This was part of their territories. And then when the wall came down, and so, the USSR went away, and all these became individual countries, Russia kept this bit right here, Kaliningrad, for Russia. You will notice that there's no roads going from Kaliningrad to Russia that Russia can drive on. The only way the Russians can get there is by coming down the sea and coming into port here. Why is Kaliningrad so important? Because it's an ice-free port in the Baltic. It's the only one that Russia has. It used to be the base of their Baltic fleet, and their Baltic fleet is really important to Russia. Here, there's the sea. See, the Baltic goes out to the Atlantic, and here's the rest of Russia up in here. And so that's where they can maintain their ships and stuff like that. So it's an strategically important area for Russia. So they kept it. Well, when the Brits sent their troops into one of these little republics right on Russia's border, Russia said, all right, check this out. and they put these missiles in here. And the missiles that they put in there can be nuclear tipped. No one is saying they are nuclear tipped. No one's saying they're not nuclear tipped. So you got to assume they are. And everyone freaked out. Oh, those missiles are threatening our forces, and they can actually reach Berlin, which is down here. And so that's all you read about in the news, is that Russia is upping the ante by putting missiles in there. No one told you that the Brits started it, NATO started it, by putting British forces on Russia's border. So it was either Latvia or Estonia, somewhere up in there. And so now we're sending U.S. forces, and if you read the top of the Drudge headline, we're going to Estonia, right? We're putting U.S. forces in Estonia. Man, why do you want to do that? What would we do if the Russians were putting forces in Mexico? Because that's a land border, right? Or what heck, remember when they started building up forces in Cuba? What happened? We don't like that. You're getting too close to us. Stay away. But no, so we're putting U.S. Special Forces in Estonia. But it's just, so far, for current news reporting, it's just U.S. Special Forces. I mean, U.S. Special Forces aren't going to stop, a bazillion tanks and APCs coming across that border or anything like that. It's more of a show of force, and we're probably there training the Estonians, and, because that's what Special Forces really does, right? We train people. And so they're probably there plussing up the Estonian military, helping them, giving them some courage. Don't worry, we stand with you, brother, against the big Russian bear. Is World War III going to start in the next 2 weeks? I don't think so. It's not like we put the, armored division in there or, something like that. We're just putting Iches and Uches and guys that mostly walk with boots. So Russia is not afraid of that. But, again, can you notice how this is all in Russia's backyard? What are we doing there? I mean, I'm kind of like a libertarian Rand Paulite when it comes to this. We got no business over here. We got no business over there, in my opinion. We ought to be watching our own darn borders instead of Russia's borders. And if I was Russia, I would want to have some serious influence on these little countries right here that border me. Wouldn't you? I mean, that makes sense, right? And so, pretend you're Russia, and all of a sudden the West is starting to pile on soldiers all along your border here. What would that make you think? You see what I'm saying? It's not like Russia just went into the Central Africa or into South America and dropped in an airborne brigade that we have to worry about. We, I submit to you, are poking the bear. They put their missiles there just to say, hey, check it. Mess with us, we can mess with you too. You want to up the ante? We'll really up the ante. We'll put nuclear-capable missiles right here that can range Berlin. Bottom line, I think this is just more nonsense by the West. They're going to push and see what they can get away with. But the problem is when you start playing that push game, at some point somebody may decide to take a swing instead of pushing back. And a swing in this world could be very dangerous. I think you ought to call your Congress critter and tell them, what the heck are we doing sending forces anywhere over there? There's no need for it right now. You're just creating a potentially dangerous situation. Do I think World War III is coming right now? I do not. Do I think we're massing troops on the Russian border? I do not. We're just putting troops in there to, more like, hey, we support you guys. We're serious about this. I don't think Russia has any intention of coming across those borders en masse, with tanks and stuff right now. I think we're being the idiots here. I think Obama is being the idiot here. He's showing what a child he is as he goes out. I think he's trying to light fires as he goes out so that Trump is really occupied when he comes into office with minutia before he can get to work. But I think Trump can solve that with a couple phone calls. All right. Stay frosty, my friends. I'll see you out there.